Have you ever heard of the great fires in all of these cities? They're really suspicious. Now, whatever you think about a great fire, I'm pretty sure you've seen maybe someone's house burn up, maybe a couple houses, maybe an apartment, or, we remember Hawaii, what happened with that. But have you ever thought about the materials that were burnt? Yeah, our houses today are made like cardboard boxes. Everything is flammable. But in the old days, everything that's been claimed to have been burned or made of stone. Like, if you look at the pictures, you see all the stone buildings that look like that they were demolished, maybe by explosives, so that they burned. How can something that's non-flammable burn down thousands of buildings in a great fire in one day? Well, we're going to explore that and the reasons that they give for these great fires. Think of the craziest thing you could start a fire with, and I'm pretty sure it's not as good as these narratives. So let's get it.
All hell breaks loose if it's not in his order.
All right, here we go. So, this one's in San Francisco, a San Francisco fire of 1851. They give you a whole bunch of gobbledygook in the beginning, the height of the gold rush, which I need to look into that. I'm pretty sure it's actually something else. Around 11 p.m. on the night of May 3rd, 1851, I'm glad they know the time, because, man, they can't remember who one of the architects was in my last video for building one of these cathedrals. They just don't know. And that was in, like, the 1904 or something. But they do know about the time that the fire started, in 1851. A fire broke out, possibly arson, broke out in a paint and upholstery store above a hotel on the south side of Portsmouth Square in San Francisco, fueled by increasingly high winds. Wow, they even knew how windy it was. The fire was initially carried down Kearney Street, and then as the winds shifted to the south, they knew even what way the winds were shifting. Elevated wood plank sidewalks provided extra fuel. I'm glad they explained that there about the wood, and they're laying a basis on how everything supposedly burned. Okay, the fire, which was visible for miles out to sea, continued for about 10 hours. Sure it did. And eventually extended to at least 18 blocks of the main business district. It burned down 2,000 buildings. I just want to ask you, have you ever seen a fire so great that has burnt down 2,000 buildings? We can even look at the recent ones, in Hawaii? And it didn't burn down that many buildings. And and the things that weren't burnt are questionable, like the color of some items. Blue, that were being avoided by the fire. But somehow, all of this stuff was burnt. At least 9 people died in the fire. You have 9 people that supposedly died. But they do know that the way that the wind was blowing. But they say at least 9 people. Yeah, that doesn't make sense. Wait, that's San Francisco in March 1847? I wonder where the 2,000 buildings are. I don't see 2,000 buildings. In 1849, San Francisco had approximately 1,000 inhabitants. By 1856, the population had soared to 50,000. Okay, so the 1851 fire. So how do you have 1,000 people? Let's just be generous, 1,500 people in the city. And then how did they have 2,000 buildings? How did they have 2,000 buildings with less than 2,000 people? And get this, not even 2 years prior. It's written, in late 1849, a French observer wrote, at San Francisco, where 15 months ago we found only a half dozen large cabins. So they're trying to sell the story that less than 2,000 people built 2,000 buildings in less than 2 years. Right, so we have the 1871 Chicago fire, just 3 years before the 1874 one. The fire killed approximately 300 people, and destroyed roughly 3.3 square miles of a city, including over 17,000 structures. What the heck? That is just so many. And left more than 100,000 residents homeless. The fire began in a neighborhood southwest of the city center. A long period of dry, hot, windy conditions and the wooden construction prevalent in the city. They gotta let you know that it's wood and not stone. I mean, look at the picture that's depicted here of these buildings that are on fire. Just how do you catch brick on fire from block to block? Must have been making bricks a lot different back then. The fire leapt the south branch of the Chicago River. What? It jumped over the river and destroyed much of central Chicago, and then crossed the main stem of the river. What? Consuming the near north side. Man, fires were made different back then too. They jumped over water to get to the other side. Just wow. I hope those don't come back. They improved the building codes to stop the rapid spread of future fires. Yeah, with all them bricks. Hopefully they didn't continue building with bricks. And rebuilt rapidly to those higher standards. Sure they did. The fire is said to have been started around 8:30 p.m. on October 8th in or around a small barn belonging to the O'Leary family that bordered the alley behind 137 West DeKoven Street. When Daniel Pegleg Sullivan accidentally knocked over a lantern while looking for While looking for beer for a party. So somebody saw the start of the fire. Pegleg Sullivan. When Daniel Pegleg Sullivan. What? Pegleg? Okay. Huh. So he accidentally knocked it over. Okay. This is just wild. The shed next to the barn was the first building to be consumed by the fire. City officials never determined the cause of the blaze. What do you mean? You just said it. He knocked over a lantern. The Pegleg knocked over a lantern while looking for beer. But then down here, they never determined the cause of the blaze. Okay, but the rapid spread of the fire due to a long drought in that year's summer, strong winds from the southwest, and rapid destruction of the water pumping system explain the extensive damage of the mainly wooden city structures. Yeah, no, not hardly. Nope, we saw what they were building, and they were not building with wood, as the stories state. Building these grand cathedrals out of marble. Tell blames that the O'Leary's cow knocked over the lantern. Others state that a group of men were gambling inside the barn and knocked over a lantern. Either way, it's a lantern. Okay, a lantern fell over. Still, other speculation suggests that the blaze was related to other fires in the Midwest that day. Yeah, they just, hopped on over to Chicago. We read that they hop over water. So yeah, why not? You know what's almost more unbelievable than 17,000 buildings being destroyed by that one fire? Is that in 1837, when Chicago was founded, there was only 4,170 people reported living in the city that year. In just 43 years, those people were able to knock out more than 17,000 buildings. In just 43 years, those people were able to knock out more than 17,000 buildings. That's just incredible. That is incredible. They must have had so many horses and so many donkeys and so many wagons. And everyone must have been just so buff from doing all the work around there. If you thought that last story was crazy, check out Jacksonville, Florida. Great Fire of 1901. They got to tell you first that it was consisted of mainly wooden buildings with wood shingle roofs. Just wood everywhere. I'm guessing they even had wood on the street too. The city itself had been suffering under a prolonged drought, same stories, even though it's Jacksonville, Florida, and it is very humid there and sometimes rains once a day, leaving the building exteriors across the city dry and fire prone. Setting the stage, right, for the lie? At around noon on Friday, May 3rd, 1901, workers at the Cleveland Fiber Factory left for lunch to go to McDonald's. Several minutes later, sparks coming from the chimney of a nearby building, doesn't say what building, started a fire in a pile of Spanish moss. So wait, let me get this straight. Sparks coming from a chimney of a nearby building started a fire in a pile of Spanish moss. Sparks on a chimney started the fire on Spanish moss. It's like we just reached into a bag of words and pulled out random words and just put them together and said, yep, that's the story that had been laid out to dry. So they try to put it out with a few buckets of water because that's what you do, right? And they've done that frequently on similar occasions. How frequent were these fires? However, the blaze was soon out of control due to the wind picking up out of the east. We're just going to stop. Wait a second, guys. Wait. Don't throw that water on the pile yet. Let me lick my finger and determine where the wind's coming from so I can tell the story. Forget about the name of the building where the sparks were flying out of the chimney. We need to get this wind down. We need to document the wind. A brisk northwest wind. Okay, so now it's out of the east. And now we're having another wind from the northwest. Fanned the flames, which spread from house to house, of course, as fast as a man could walk. But what? Can you picture that? I can't picture that. That's so funny. Okay, in 8 hours, the fire burned 146 city blocks and destroyed more than 2,367 buildings and left almost 10,000 residents homeless, including the Afro-American Insurance Association. Okay, and the glow from the flames could be seen in Savannah, Georgia. How can people in Savannah, Georgia see a fire in Jacksonville, Florida? I mean, how could you even do that anyways with the earth curved the way it is? How would you even see it? How do we know this? And the smoke plumes in Raleigh, North Carolina. Heck, they saw smoke in North Carolina, supposedly, and said, yep, that's in Florida. This is just insane. This is insane. James Welton Johnson, principal of a local school, don't have the name of the school, but we know where the wind came from. However, that fireman tried to save the fire from spreading to the white neighborhood. Okay, allowing black parts of town to be burned down in the process. So the fire just knew which part that was going to burn down. The fire knew not to go to the white people and then went to the black people. Yeah, that makes sense. And then we always have to have some kind of account from somebody writing something about it. Yeah, sure. Basically saying the same thing. That they saved a white neighborhood and told the fire to go to the black neighborhood. Okay, yeah, sure. Reconstruction began immediately, and only 7 human deaths were reported. Oh, and get this. St. Andrew's Episcopal Church, built of bricks in 1887, because the picture right here doesn't show any other bricks, does it? See down here? Yeah, nothing else looked like bricks here. Nothing at all. All wood, except for that one. That one looks like one of those grand cathedral buildings. Yeah, so funny that this is the story they say. I don't see wood anywhere, but I see piles of bricks everywhere. Okay. This is Jacksonville, Florida, after the fire. I don't see many wood buildings. I see a lot of brick. I do see most likely wooden telephone poles. And it is suspicious that they didn't burn down. Just suspicious. I don't know how fire avoids those, but I guess it does. After the fire. Oh, this is 2 years after. Look, they managed to rebuild it perfectly. Look. Look at all that brick. This is supposedly after the fire. Is this the same area? Are they claiming that they built these buildings? Constructed these buildings out of concrete and stone? Really quickly. This is 1878. A little bit of proof that maybe everything wasn't wooden like they claimed. I still see a whole bunch of brick. And more brick. How much wood do you see in these pictures? 1878. Their story doesn't add up. Dirt road? Still, I'm not seeing much wood here. 1875. I don't know. I don't know why the story don't add up. Why would they lie? What were they trying to get rid of? The Great Atlanta Fire of 1917. It began just after noon on the 21st of May, 1917. It's unclear just how the fire started, just like It's been unclear with all the other fires. But it was fueled by hot temperatures. How do you fuel a fire if it's already just hot outside? Anyways. And strong winds which propelled the fire. They always know that it's windy. It's just windy everywhere, ain't it? The fire burned for nearly 10 hours and destroyed 300 acres and 1,900 structures. It was a clear, warm, and sunny day with a brisk breeze. This was not the only fire of the day, but the fourth call in a span of an hour. A small fire at the Candler warehouse at 11:39 a.m. on the dot, and at 11:43, a fire 7 blocks north that destroyed 3 houses, and at 12:15, south of the Georgia Railroad, from the big fire, 10 homes were destroyed before being extinguished. And the local chicken told them all this. At 12:46, a call came from a small warehouse just north of this street, and the crew sent to inspect it found a stack of burning mattresses. That's how they found it. The crew sent to inspect the small fire saw burning mattresses, but they didn't have any firefighting equipment with them. Why not? Why didn't they bring their firefighting equipment with them? If the fire department had not been spread across so many different parts of the city already, the fire would have been put out. Yeah, okay, sure. Get this. This is how they go and put the fire out. The fire reached Highland. It raced both east and west through many fine homes. Around 4 p.m. in the afternoon, firefighters had begun to stall the fire by using dynamite to destroy many homes along Pine Boulevard and finally Ponce de Leon. I think they didn't mean to put that in there, because I think dynamite was the culprit all along that made these fires. They used dynamite to destroy everything. It's kind of funny. Why would firefighters stop a fire by using dynamite? When was the last time you used that to put out a fire? Yeah, next time we're going to go put out a fire, your campfire, go put the campfire out, just put it out with dynamite and see how much that works for you. Unbelievable.